Hi Gemini, welcome to the Dream Prophet. This is your November 2018 reading. Let's start off with general. Okay, it looks like you have a lot on your mind. You're having a lot of negative thoughts. You could be up at night just full of anxiety. Could be a little bit of depression here, not knowing what to do. Just having a lot on your mind and, suffering on your own. This is Suffering in Silence card. And it's sort of, seeing off in the distance, and you're kind of stranded here. It's seeing off in the distance that you're so far away from what it is that you're trying to achieve that you can't even see how on earth you're going to get there. So you feel so isolated and stranded, and you don't have anything with you except for a walking stick. The block is you feel that you're just not getting any movement forward whatsoever in your life at the moment. That could do with relationships, with career, with any goals that you have. You're just not seeing any movement whatsoever, and that's really concerning you. The advice is you just need to take control of the situation and move forward. You will be triumphant, but you're the one who has to steer your life into the direction that you want to take it. So, and the only way to do that is by changing your thought patterns, your belief systems. So find out what belief systems no longer work for you and get rid of them. By sitting and churning the story over and over again in your mind is not going to help you get what it is that you desire. The only way to do that is to say, okay, what can I put into effect here? How am I going to have the positive thoughts? If you have to do the rubber band thing on your wrist, and every time you have a negative thought, you just, pull it. And so you stop, and then you replace it with a positive thought. Okay, what can I do about this? Affirmations, when you're sleeping, having them constantly vocalize and program your mind as you're sleeping, because I do feel like there has to be some sort of awakening or an epiphany to happen, some sort of acknowledgement that has to happen for you to understand. I mean, look at the thought process. It almost seems that this is the answer. It's your mind. Once you allow that source energy, that bright light to come forward, this is when you're going to become the magician, the manifester, be able to do what you want in your life is by changing that thought process. All right, Gemini? And now I do see memories of love, and love begins, but they're reversed. So I feel almost like this awakening, the spiritual awakening that has to occur, there's a realization perhaps where these thoughts are coming from, or these old beliefs are from childhood, where you were not taught how to fill your own cup or to show love towards yourself, or perhaps at the beginning of a love in the past just didn't go anywhere. The emotions just didn't fill up. They just sort of ran right out of the cup. And that's caused you this negative thought pattern, like, oh my gosh, this is always going to happen. This is what I learned from the past. So this is my pattern. This is always going to happen. And that's not the case. Past experiences don't dictate what is going to happen in your future. And this is the epiphany that you will have in the month of November. Now, I did get some clarifiers, and I got Crystal for the Suffering in Silence. And Crystal basically says, have faith. You can't see what's coming up in your future just yet. And if you saw, you would realize you wouldn't be sitting on this mountain and crying over something that just doesn't exist. What you think is negative. So it's saying, have faith. Don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams or the process, because things will change around for you. Okay. Now the block is Daniel. I am the angel of marriage. So perhaps that, you're having some marital problems for some of you, and maybe that's what's causing you this grief and this negative thought pattern that's causing your difficulties in your marriage right now. And that's the belief that you have to change. The expectation of your partner perhaps needs to receive some adjustment. For others of you who are single, this could be, I mean, this is maybe what you were hoping for and it hasn't occurred, and that's what's causing you to suffer in silence or believe that it's never going to happen for you. Now, again, for the advice and the clarifier, it's basically doing some reflection, going in, and again, I want to point out that it's all kind of, this energy going into the mind, and I feel like this is what needs to be clarified here. It's your mind, clearing your thought patterns. Really, this is a strong message. It's all about the mind. Changing those belief systems that do not serve you anymore, that are affecting your relationships, your marriage, or the ability to get married or to attract the right partner towards you. So take control of the situation, do the meditation, do the work within, and find out what that belief system is so that you can finally release it, have that epiphany, and be able to change the future and have your cup being filled. And look at this. This is the final outcome. Take action. You're in touch with your truth in the situation, and you need to trust your gut and lovingly assert yourself. And, I just see that when you do this and you have this epiphany and you start changing your belief systems and your thought patterns are more positive, you're going to start to rise. You can just see the uplifting, that just coming out of that negative darkness and being propelled or just floating up in this beautiful light and love and being blossoming. And that's what's waiting for you in the month of November, provided you do the reflection and you change those thoughts. All right, let's take a look at your love. And it says pay attention to the red flags. So for you, some of the red flags are these old belief systems, these old thought patterns. Okay. Now it says honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. And then I'm just going to pull the last one here. It's trust. All right. So I feel for you, for some of you who are already in a relationship, pay attention to the red flags. I want to say that it's on both sides, because I am seeing that there are some issues in a marriage. So I feel like, and because of these negative thought patterns, you have to look at your own belief system and find out how is that affecting your relationship. That could be a red flag for you. Also, look at your partner. Is there something your partner's doing that is a red flag for you as well? And don't be afraid to have a discussion about it and bring that out into the open. Let me see if there's anything else in this card here. Yeah, I see this girl, this huge hat, and it's almost like a veil, almost wanting to hide away from what's right in front of her. And I would caution not to do that. If something in your gut says something isn't quite right, you do the meditation, reflect, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling this way? Why is this a red flag to me? Is this something that I have to be cautious about, or is this something that I'm creating drama? And that's those thoughts again. Are you creating this chaos in your life? And when I see that the honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together, I feel like this was reversed, which is very interesting, because so is this. And I feel like this is a travel card as well, on a trip, not being able to take a trip. Perhaps you and your mate do need to take a vacation together. Maybe this is sorely needed, to take some time out. Maybe you're the one who needs to go and take this trip, although I do see a couple here. So I feel like maybe this is a good opportunity to have some time to work on the relationship, taking action, take that time together and work on those red flags. You may find that there is a trust issue that needs to be addressed, and that by going on this trip together, it kind of rebuilds that trust between the two of you. And maybe that is the epiphany that you have to have, is that you've had trust issues from your past, from your childhood. and that you're not trusting in your own intuition and gut. All right, I pulled, oh, I still have another card here. This is future, future, future. Oh, interesting. Your children on earth and in heaven are happy and well cared for by God and the angels. This is opal. Wow. This card speaks of, for people who have lost a child, this is to let them know that child is around them. And maybe that's the loss too that you have felt, or you know, I have to look at memories of love, and then the love begins, but it's sort of upside down. You never got a chance. This never quite got off the ground, and that could be for some of you who have lost a child or maybe had a miscarriage, and that you feel that you're never going to be able to have children again. Get rid of that thought pattern. And also, if you've, you know, for some reason I just got a thought that some of you feel guilt, and that you're almost punishing yourself. You blame yourself for the loss of this child. You're punishing yourself, and that's just not right either. You don't lose children because of something that you've done. When it's a miscarriage or natural causes, and maybe that's why you're sort of stuck in your mind about this. I just feel like there's a child on the other side who's just saying that they love you, and that they're sort of around you. Maybe for some of you it's to let you know that, you know, you can have another child, and they're waiting. They're waiting for you to make that decision if you so choose it. All right, let's take a look at what else is here. High Priestess. You have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teaching. Wow, this is incredible, because again, we've been talking about the mind and changing the thought patterns, and having this epiphany and the spiritual awareness, and being the magician and being able to manifest. And then you have the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is all about intuition and spiritual knowing. So for the month of November, I feel like when you're working on this and you're taking control and having that epiphany, this is what you're opening up to. This is your divine nature of understanding your own knowing and what's inside of you. Now for those concerned about their career or life purpose, I feel like in the month of November, you may actually be engaging in, could be traditional institution of schooling, or could be minor like workshops here and there, or getting a tutor or getting a coach, anything like that. But any type of education, again, to inform you. This could be spiritual learning, or it could be anything to do with your career, sort of upgrading to another level by getting the necessary education to move you into a different career, or a higher level within the career that you're already in. Some of you might actually become teachers. You could be, you know, not only studying, but teaching. And then we have number, I believe that's 30. And I feel like this is the Goddess card, which is very interesting, because we had the High Priestess, and I feel like for the High Priestess is sort of, to me, like the Goddess card. This is really embracing your feminine side, and opening yourself up to your intuition, and really owning it, owning who you are, stepping into that power, and not being afraid of it, and really moving away again from all this suffering and in your mind, and being more present. You are a goddess. Remember that. This is all about remembering. Remember who you are and own it. And it doesn't matter if you're masculine or feminine. This is about embracing your feminine side for either. All right, and I believe that's all the cards. So Gemini, enjoy your month.